Welcome. Scott here. I will be covering on the upcoming character event, an elegant coffee break featuring Enna Kros from World of Final Fantasy. The event will mark the debut of Enna. Other than Enna, the featured units that are synergy for the event are Zack along with the Turks, Reno and Rude from Final Fantasy VII. The event will also be featuring the C90 awakenings for both Enna and Reno. We will be fighting the Château d'Illusion, which has 23 million HP. The boss is weak against Holy and Dark. When the book is closed, the boss will summon 2 Immortal Generals, which has 9 million HP each. The turn requirement for the fight is 70 and the HP requirements is 10,000. Before I continue further, here is a small disclaimer clause for the video. The guide is written based on the time that the event was released for the Japanese version. Please do note that it is possible that the boss fight mechanics might differ when the actual event is released in global. Firstly, let's go through the LUFENIA plus Orb Conditions. The orb will be activated at the start of the fight at the counter of 5. Every action taken by the boss will downtick the orb by 2. The orb will be reactivated when the boss enters into the closed book state. The book will open up when the orb reaches 20. The non-fatal countdown ability is Gespenst Licht Plus. It is a guaranteed hit, AoE Brave plus HP attack where boss will delay all targets by 3 turns. The boss will gain an orange aura where it gains 150% HP damage resist that last for 2 turns. To uptick the orb, you need to deal at least light or dark element brave with 500k HP damage in a turn. The potential orb helpers will expand by a lot if you make use of party elemental enchanters. For light enchanters, you can consider Sidor, Kuja, Eiko or Ash. For dark enchanters, you can consider Xanda or Château. Alternatively, you can bring dark or holy damage elemental units. Enna is one example that could easily deal the orb requirements. The countdown ability is a nasty one and could be a run ender unless you can survive it. Depending on the strategy you deployed, you might see the orb remains frozen at its initial state. Now let's proceed with some party setup recommendations. Recommended calls abilities. To ensure that you are able to constantly break them, it is important to inflict defense down debuffs. Example of calls abilities that inflict defense down calls are Ferris, Titus, Jack, and Vanille. To speed up the fight, using HP damage up debuff calls like Karasame, Gabrinth, Liliset, Fran, Maria, and Ignis are useful. Although a bit trickier to use, Aura type HP damage up calls like Sid and Kamari are also viable. Most recently C90 units have Aura enchant call. You can use Dissidia DB call finder to find out more. As mentioned previously, in order to uptick the orb, you need to deal dark or holy elemental damage along with 500k HP damage. An elemental enchant call is very useful. For party enchant call, you can consider Ash for holy and Xanda for dark. Enna and Sidor offer individual elemental enchant when used as a call. Next, I will be covering units that will be useful to handle the fight mechanics. Like other LUFENIA Plus events, it is always recommended to bring supports for their aura and buffs. They are Garnet, Leela, Eiko, Ramza, Purim, Setzer, Agrias, Kate Sith, Queen, Ishtala, Bartz, Rem, Lyud, and Sarah. Garnet or Ramza BT plus support will help to trivialize the fight that you could finish the fight before you worry about the boss mechanics. Leela will make the boss attacks a non-issue since the boss don't have any guaranteed hit attacks other than the countdown ability. Unless you are doing full evasion strategy involving Leela, damage mitigation will make fight easier to ensure your party is safe from any stray HP attacks. Options include Snow, Core, Gladiolus, Warrior of Light, Beatrix, Orin, Zack, Guy, Bash, and Steiner. For damage dealers, you can consider bring launchers and delayers. Examples are Sid Rains, Cloud, Ramza, Selfie, Lael, Kais, Fang, Dark Knight Cecil, Kane, Tifa, Noctis, and Quistis. They offer a key component in doing boss no turns for the fight. When boss is in open book state, it will lower its defense and you will do more HP damage. Turn manipulation is a very nice utility as well. Examples are Afma, Ignis, Rem, Ash and Onion Knight. Sid Rains and Noctis also have turn manipulation in their kit. Units that have instant turns like Papa Limo, Alisai, Lightning, Jet, Titus, Terra, and Vayne will also work here. As you want to focus on the boss, it is important to push the two immortal generals' turns away. Turn deletion is also a very useful utility. Enna, Zidane, and Amidala offer such utility. Ultimecia could also offer this, but it only lasts for 3 turns after using her burst phase. If you want to open the book, I listed down some of the dark and holy units that you can consider for the fight. On the screen, you will see a timeline showing the HP thresholds triggers that you need to watch out for. The boss gains LUFENIA aura at the following thresholds: start of the fight, 79% and 49% HP threshold. While the 79% and 49% thresholds are activated, the boss will gain 500k HP shields. The boss has 2 states. While in closed book state, the boss will gain an additional 50% HP damage resist. It will summon 2 generals. The LUFENIA orb will also be active. While in open book state, the boss will receive increased 50% HP damage. The boss will start off the fight in a closed book state and summon 2 generals. The generals are immortal and they could buff the boss or do HP attacks if their brave are high. To force the book to open, you need to uptick the orb to 20. Once the conditions are fulfilled, the generals will retreat from the battlefield and the boss will stay in open book state for 10 party actions. After the 10th party action, the boss will go into the closed book state. Overall, this fight is an easy one if you have the tools to counter the boss mechanics. As the orb don't downtick when your party acts. With the use of turn manipulation, turn deletion, and delays, you can do boss no turns and finish off the fight without seeing the boss doing anything. The boss doesn't have any fatal HP attacks as well. Now let's proceed with the boss mechanics proper. Like the previous LUFENIA Plus fights, the boss will gain big stats boosts, brave damage, and brave gain reduction auras when you deplete their HP to a certain threshold. The thresholds trigger for this fight is at the start of the fight, 79% and 49% HP thresholds. At the start of the fight, it will boost all its defenses by 200%. At 79% HP threshold, it will further boost its defense to 300%. At the 79% and 49% HP thresholds, the boss will gain 500k HP shields. The maximum brave damage reduction auras is 90%. The maximum brave gain reduction auras are 90%. To handle the defense stats boost, you can inflict defense down calls. To handle the brave gain and brave damage reduction auras, you can use brave damage up debuffs like Jack, Sephiroth, or deploy a support with brave damage up like Lena. Rem is one of the rare supports that provide brave gain up. If you have Garnet or Ramza BT auras activated, it will be overflowing and you will probably hardly notice the LUFENIA auras exists. Let's start off with the closed book stance. At the start of the fight, you will see a prompt, a closed book takes reduced HP damage. When the boss is in closed book state, the LUFENIA orb will be activated. If you don't have means to uptick the orb, it is not advisable to give the boss any turns as every action the boss takes will downtick the orb by 2. The countdown ability has a pretty nasty effect and it will make the boss to reach an immortal state. Once the boss is in closed book state, it will summon 2 generals. The generals are immune to HP damage. They gain 200% defense and 70% brave damage reduction auras. While damaging the boss, it is important to keep their turns off the battlefield. They can buff the main boss with additional brave shields. To force the boss into the open book state, you need to either uptick the orb to 20 or let it uses the countdown ability. When the boss is in open book state, it will receive 50% more HP damage. To maximize your damage output, it is ideal to use your summon or burst phase while the boss is in this state. When you are approaching the 7 or 8 action, the boss will start to emit a purple aura where it gives a warning message that the book is closing. The boss will enter into closed book state after your 10th party action. On the right side of the screen, you can see a summarized chronological flow of the boss states. I have come to the last slide of the guide. There are 2 common approaches adopted by JP players when the event is released. As your actions don't downtick the orb, turn spammers, turn manipulators, launchers, and delayers are the best option for the fight. With a good strategy, you could probably finish the boss fight while the book remains in a closed state. If you want to do the hit and counter strategy, have a party dark or holy enchanter is a necessity to avoid any unnecessarily trigger of the countdown ability. Do take advantage of the damage window opportunity when the boss enters into the open book state. With this, we have come to the end of the boss guide. Thank you for watching the video. If you like the video, please do give the video a like. Please do subscribe to my channel for future similar content. Bye.